if karma was a thing, how would karma get issued? That's over the human's head. And as we develop our perspective, quote unquote, forever, end quote, our perspective will change always. And the thing here is like, a lot could be said about a lot of different things. And people have different reasons to do different things, right? So if people have different reasons to do different things, once we cultivate our own perhaps balanced reason within how we have a relationship with spirit, which is the more pure balanced thing, in a spiritual mechanics way, speaking of it, then we could see the sick irony of life and reality. What is the sick irony of reality? It's how someone could think of something of you, yet that's how they could feel. And that's why, they could go in their own refuge to kind of like rebuild themselves, because how someone views you, someone else could or how you view someone, someone else could view the same way you view someone else, right? So if you're hating on someone and talking shit about someone, by proxy, that could happen to you, right? So just on a general proxy level, so it could happen to you, because it's not necessarily linear and one-dimensional like that. And since it's not linear and one-dimensional like that, just the basic spiritual intelligence is lost. Because it's kind of ironic that, all of this, everyone's talking about this hype spirituality stuff, when the real case is, like, maybe that's there for a reason, right? There's different reasons. Things are like, we don't understand the reasons why things the way they are. People want to like have like key terms like, oh, this group is doing this, or these beings are doing this. No, you're from those beings. You have a relationship from your starting point of spirit and energy, respectively, and now you're shitting on God or not, and at the end of the ultimate fucking day, you're gonna need God, because for us to do anything, we're gonna need these higher beings, because these higher beings, it's not about us misinterpreting quote unquote archons or demiurge, end quote. It's not about that. It's not about getting lost with the etymology and the mini psychological spell from the etymology. It's not about getting lost with that. No, we're from these beings, and those beings have a different duality. And as we come from the duality of those beings, we're creating our own fucking duality, right? So it's like, the question here is like, why is there all this pain and suffering in the world, right? Why is there all the fucking pain and suffering in the world? Because that, for one, perhaps some higher balanced beings within the reflection of order and the order of reflection, that's how something could issue out karma standardly, because if karma is not issued, then chaos will take over the structured universe, right? And if chaos takes over the structured universe, then what the fuck happens? Just chaos. And how could anybody live in just chaos? I guess some people can, but there's creators that have ordained order in this shit. So it's not about saying they're doing this to me, they're doing that to me. When we're using their shit and we need their shit because this is their shit and they built this shit, going beyond transcending the meanings of the words, like quote unquote archon and demiurge, end quote. It's like, explain this shit to me. The limiters are needed for a reason, so things don't get out of pocket energetically, right? Because it's like, if the limiters, just generally saying it, if limitations aren't there, then people will take advantage of you. And in 3D, on a 50% esoteric energy level, that's obvious as fuck, right? It's obvious as fuck, right? So since it's obvious as fuck, it's like, whoa, why is all of this like slowed down process happening and all this shit? Like, why? Like, can someone explain this fucking shit to me? It's like if these limitations aren't there that are ordained, the people who have the perception of like, oh, these beings are here to not support evolution. No, that's part of the mechanics of, that's one part of how the universe is actually, there's a part in the fucking universe that is supporting your shit though, So it's both, There's a part that is supporting your fucking shit, and there's a part that's not supporting your shit. And for someone to balance that behind all of the fucking scenes, wouldn't that be fucking God, And since that would be fucking God, it's like all of these like misinterpretations and all of just the cheap used rhetoric and all of this hypocrisy within all of these ideals that these fucking entrepreneurs have, it's not necessarily going to leave the legacy that they want, because they're just, it's just hypocrisy, Like the ideals aren't matched with the actions, It's like people that are saying all of this rhetoric of like you're not living the wisdom, It's like, let's go, oh, they're just caught up in some immature intellectual spiritual shit. Let's go take counsel from our elders. We haven't lived the wisdom. Let's make a dramatic case about it. And now let's be fearful of the fucking particular claim at hand. So that's why this is the most original, realest shit fucking ever. Because I'm leading the original truth balance mission esoterically, beyond the fucking rhetoric and beyond the fucking chisme of the mind. So that's why it's like there's like an astringent factor here of just like, some quote unquote entrepreneurs, end quote, the ideals they profess, they aren't really about that. And if they're not really about that, their legacy in the future, it will have a logistical, logical reflection of how you're just saying stuff and you're not about that. And in the future, the legacy will be proof of that, And I'm just saying that standardly. So as I'm saying all of this shit standardly, there's just general misinterpretation of things. And as there are general misinterpretations of things, within the past age of quote unquote distortion, people are getting just, paid for this stuff based on how they could, follow up on like this distorted commander, right? That has been just kind of, following up on an old distorted system that's obsolete, because this is the original biggest truth balance mission, beyond your rhetoric, beyond your misinterpretation, and beyond your mental chisme drama that you have going on with yourself, perhaps. So the thing about it is, it's not like saying, it's kind of like having a keen acceptance of like, oh, okay, this is like, maybe there is a original God creator that is ordaining quote unquote different types of karma, end quote, particularly where those limiters are there, half and half. So you're fucking, so the distorted quote unquote demon part of you, end quote, doesn't take advantage out of pocket how you have that inclination and that samskara to possibly do that. Because if someone is given the chance to take more than what they need, they will do that. And if that's not esoterically regulated, then what the fuck happens? Duh. So within all of this shit, it's not misinterpreting all this shit, and it's not being a fucking, it's not being a spiritual little kid and seeing the real reasoning behind it, because there's different reasons for different shit. And if you want to insult me, then you're retarded, because you're not seeing the fucking foundation of comfort and safety. And within all that being said, it's like, Moon and Virgo, it's like, and just, you could call it quote unquote unorthodox, end quote, but, wholeness will be misinterpreted, So Moon and Virgo, it's called the doctor, right? Call the doctor and the policymakers, and let's feel what they have to say. And, and the charts are really juicy right now. And within what the charts are saying, obviously it's going to be used and misinterpreted, distorted wise and not distorted wise. And the things and the people who are forefronting using it non-distorted wise, that is the spiritual fucking hope for the fucking whole humanity. So the charts are looking juicy. When I clear up more memory, hopefully I could do like an hour and a half report on some real shit, some real truth shit, some real balance shit, some real fucking energetic savior shit beyond all of this fucking shit. And may all the haters go to fucking hell.